That's how we started. Hey guys, welcome back to Streamophile. We're your hosts. I'm Ben. That's John. Hey John, what's Streamophile?
Gee, Ben, I don't know. But Urban Dictionary
G.
says a
Okay.
streamophile is someone who really enjoys watching streaming media, be it live or on demand. That's right, G.
Yes. G. Okay. G. Well, on episode 3, G Willikers, we're gonna cover Collateral, available right now on Netflix. After the intro.
Welcome to Streamophile, the show where John and Ben watch the latest on all streaming platforms and let you know whether to stream it or skip it. We stream everything, so you don't have to.
Guys, welcome back. So yeah, today we're gonna be talking about Collateral on Netflix. It's a movie starring Tom Cruise with a questionable gray beard. But before we
Very.
get into the very, it's like I had many questions, but I'm getting ahead of myself. John, let us know what Collateral is about.
Of course. Collateral. This is according to the Google search results. After a long day, LA taxi driver Max is about to knock off when sharp suited Vincent offers him $600 to make 5 stops. Sounds good until Vincent turns out to be a merciless hitman, and each one of those stops involves a hit. As the night goes on, Max starts to wonder if he'll live to see the sunrise, as the pair are hunted by the police and the FBI.
Yep. So Max is played by Jamie Foxx. The merciless assassin is played by Tom Cruise,
Kind of
and
a
the
terrible beard,
runtime
that
is
is.
2 hours. So it's not a bad watch, right? It's not a bad amount of time to watch a movie. Like there's always like that line where like, okay, this might be a little bit too long, like The Irishman,
Right.
but whatever. 2 hours and 45 minutes is simply too long. But yeah, man, look, what were your first impressions of the movie? What was your first surprise of the movie? I think we looked at our notes. We both were shocked at the small cameo in the first 50 seconds of the movie.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I saw Jason Statham, and obviously, we've seen this movie before, right?
Yes.
And it's been a while, and I chose an older movie because, well, you left it up to me to choose a movie, and so I decided, you know what? I'm a Tom Cruise fan, and
Yep.
I'm gonna pick a Tom Cruise movie, and it's one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies of all time. Maybe because it's not really a Tom Cruise movie. There's a lot of Jamie Foxx here, but yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, first 50 seconds, Cruise is at the airport, bumps into Jason Statham, and I'm thinking, wait, what is this? This is Reacher meets the transporter was about to happen, and then he's
That'll be
gone
dope.
just as soon as he appears. Right, he's there for
Yes.
20 seconds, 30 seconds, have a really quick interaction, switch bags, and that's all she wrote about Jason Statham. But I
Yeah.
mean,
That
the
was.
cast is pretty loaded. Like the other characters,
Yeah. You have Mark Ruffalo that plays a detective, Detective Fanning
yeah.
on in the movie. You have Peter Berg that plays another detective, which looks
Mm.
like it's his superior. So Ruffalo plays the I'm gonna get the guy detective in the movie. And then you have Jada Pinkett Smith and Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise in the title roles. Yeah, it's a pretty stacked cast, man.
You
Like
have Javier
I
Bardem playing Felix.
as a random cameo, right? Just just
Yeah,
just showing up as a gem, and they're like, "Oh, look, it's Javier Bardem. I see you. All right, man." The movie was. I have not seen this movie. First of all, it came out in 2004. I have
yeah.
not seen this movie probably in 17 years. Like I don't remember like going back to watching this movie, so it was a nice little surprise. Where like, yes, I remembered most of it, but I was like, oh, I forgot. I had no idea Mark Ruffalo was in this movie. Right?
With the
Like
slick
I
back
did
hair.
not. Yeah, with the slick back hair and questionably Mexican. Like until like when they first showed him,
I
I
don't
was like,
know what it
why is Mark
was.
Ruffalo playing a Mexican? But his name was Fanning, so I was very confused because I don't think there's many Fannings that are also Mexican in LA. I'm not sure. You
Undercover.
guys hit us up. Yeah, I mean he was undercover. He had the earring and everything. But yeah, look, man, that's just phew, this movie was something. I will say it was hard to keep my wife's attention uh in it because it was just a little bit too gritty at first. She doesn't
Hmm.
do violent movies, so it was something. But yeah, how was your watch? Because we both watched it today.
Yeah, we rewatched it, and I'm glad it was today and not a couple days ago because it's all still pretty fresh. I
Hmm.
actually saw, I probably saw half of it with my son. He was doing some other stuff, the other half, but it's, I don't know if it's as good or better than what I remember it being because Tom Cruise's beard, um, what did he have? Transplant aside, right? That was a terrible 5 o'clock shadow or whatever he had going. It's just a terrible beard.
I don't know why he had it. Like I don't know.
That
I don't understand
aside,
why he had it.
the look they went for is the cinematography on this movie is incredible because it's made in 2004, but the way that the shots are panning and everything, it reminds me of like 1990s, 1980s. That's the kind of vibe that I'm getting. Even though it's shot in 2004, it's supposed to be in 2004 of the time, but it
Hmm.
felt like a 1990s movie the way that it was being filmed. And you know, the the suit Cruz is wearing, silver suit. He's got the silver hair, so he's like a silver
Yeah,
fox. I don't know, maybe a little
yeah.
over
I
the
don't know.
top. The
Yeah,
sunglasses like puts it another
indoors.
level over the top. Right, indoors at night in
Yeah,
LA,
twice,
and he's got
twice.
sunglasses on.
Yeah, yeah.
A mixture
Uh,
of like aviators and whatever Neo was wearing in the Matrix is what Cruz was wearing.
Look, let's give
But
me
he
one sec.
had that
The
assassin
glasses,
vibe. Like the look was on, over the top, but it was spot on. And Jamie
the glasses
Foxx,
were
who
too small for
was
his face.
they were Jamie Foxx was what 30. Jamie Foxx was 36, I think, at that time,
Yeah,
and he looked like an old man. Like makeup did great. He looked like a guy that had been beaten down by life. He looked like someone that was in his 50s, 40s. And when you look at later on, he sees his mother who's sick and who's older. You're like, okay, yeah, he is supposed to be about 50 years old, and that's what he looked like. When I first
yeah,
saw him, I'm like, what age is this guy supposed to be? I forgot, from when I saw this movie so long ago, and
yeah.
they nailed the makeup.
It's funny you say that, right? Because look, movie came out in 2004. If you
Hmm.
haven't seen it, we're gonna talk about this a little bit more on point than previous shows, like on episode 2 where we talked about Mo. It's a show that just came out. It came out 18 years ago. This is old enough to not buy a beer, but like enlist in the military. So we're gonna talk about this more spoiler driven. It's funny you say that, right? Because like I hadn't thought of that. I was like, man, because look, in this movie you have the token standard Tom Cruise dead sprint scene twice. Okay, you get it twice in this movie. If that alone doesn't make you want to watch the movie, you know what I mean? Like you decide for yourself. But when
Is that
Jamie
the sprint
Foxx was
scene where
running
he's
out,
always like he's upright, right, running with like just
just
hands like RoboCop or something,
just chest up,
chest out?
just
Yeah.
going, just going, yeah. And and when Jamie Foxx sprints, like he had the high knees, but it was like awkward. I was like, oh, it makes sense because he's supposed to be like in his late 40s, early 50s. So I
Right.
was like, that's how dedicated Jamie Foxx was to the role that like he even ran old. Like I don't know if that's how, or maybe that's how he actually runs, but he
Maybe.
ran old.
That's
Like
sad.
shout out to Jamie Foxx's running in this movie. Like
Yeah.
at the
Talk
end of
about
oh
character
man,
acting.
yeah, like he was driven. He was out there Daniel Day Lewising. You know what I mean? Like he was method in that in that run. Just the movie's crazy, dude. Mark
And you
Ruffalo,
know what's
Mark,
oh, go ahead.
sorry, Mark Ruffalo shows up. I was like, holy, it was a thin Mexican Mark Ruffalo. I see you, Mark.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like just the movie was. I like the way it was shot. I will say I had a couple issues with a couple scenes when they first showed Tom Cruise. I thought the shots were too tight. Like when he cocked back his gun just so they show the bullet in the thing. I was like, what am I looking at? Like it was so close that I couldn't tell the bullet was in the
In the chamber.
what's the word I'm looking for? In the chamber. Like
Yep.
I was like, oh, okay, that's supposed to be the gun, but the shot was too tight,
Yeah, I
kind of
thought so.
flimsy. That's one.
Mark Ruffalo. I mean, slick back
Yeah,
hair, leather
yeah,
jacket, whatever goatee he had going on. Like, what the hell was going on with the facial hair? I don't know,
no
but it
idea.
wasn't quite right. Not on Ruffalo. Doesn't look right. Maybe because we know him as Bruce Banner as the Hulk, so we know that facial hair doesn't go with him. Could
Yeah,
be, but I thought, you know what? At the beginning of the movie, I was like, this is not the usual Tom Cruise. Like, he's not jump on the couch at Oprah going crazy over the top.
no, you're
I'm
going
like,
old
this is
school.
this is
Okay,
okay. This is like two
yeah,
3 minutes in, and then he's talking to Jamie Foxx, who plays Max. He's offering him the $600, and he's like, I don't know, it's against the regs. He goes, regulations. He's like, yeah, I don't know if I should do it. And he's like, you don't know? He goes, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, there he goes. Never
there he
mind.
goes.
He's going. He,
He's
he
in.
went full Tom Cruise on that one. I was like, forget it. He's not Vincent
What
anymore.
did
He's
you?
just Tom.
So let me ask you something, man. Because what did you think about the in between conversations? Like how deep they were after he just got done killing somebody. They had like these deep heart to hearts with like laced with fear and awkwardness, and like it was like I thought that was a little bit why are they getting this intense with each other's conversations? You know what I mean? After like I don't know. I thought that was a little. I thought the conversations were were like too deep. It's conversations that like me and you have had, but like we're 25 years in. Like
Yeah,
he
life
just met the
decisions.
guy. Yeah, life decisions like you're never gonna get that limo company. Like, oh, hey man, you don't even know this
I
guy.
actually,
What?
I actually like that part of the movie because there was a lot more of that. That was the majority of the movie than there was
Yeah.
action, or with the exception of maybe at the club when there's a lot more action. But it's mostly in the cab, getting to know each other, if you want to call it that. And he what are you gonna do? You're driving a cab, you don't have a gun, and this guy's telling you, "Hey, you're never
Yeah.
gonna do this." What are you gonna do? He's got the gun. He's an assassin, hitman.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got deep. But even before the conversations, I wrote it down on my notes, and I don't want to forget. This was early on in the movie. I don't know if you noticed the song, "The Seed," Cody Chestnut and the Roots.
Oh yeah, and from Roots
Da-na-na-na-na.
2.0. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the root, yeah, the C
Yeah.
2.0, and then there was like jazz playing, and eventually they make it out to a jazz part like that. For the first half of that movie, that music in the cab, or the music, the soundtrack was on point. And then when they're headed towards their last hit, when they're headed towards Jada with the
Mm.
wig, when they got to stop and they see the two, what are they, wolves or wild dogs crossing the
Coyotes.
street, coyotes?
Coyotes. Yep.
They have was it Audio Slave? I don't know. It was some rock playing, but I
Yeah, it
thought
was.
they
Actually, I wrote that down because I was like, oh, I want to check this song out just because I liked how it started. It was
yeah
Audio Slave, Shadow on the Sun. I wrote it down in my notes.
they yeah, man, they nailed the music with that. Like I like the fact that they had these intense moments. It's just them two in the cab, and they're having these conversations, and the music kind of set the tone. I don't know. Again, we have these differing opinions. Like, you thought it
Yeah.
was too much. I thought it was like, well, you know
No,
what it is. It's what else are you gonna talk about? It's you can't have small talk. You can't have elevator talk. This dude just killed two or three people, and you're driving him
hmm
around to do it. What are you gonna have?
I like.
BS small talk?
Yeah, you know what? I like these conversations, and I like having this because it did make me change my perspective just in this conversation and replaying because literally just ended the movie right, like and ended it and came in here, so it's all fresh.
Yep.
Like it makes sense to have that conversation because like Tom Cruise says it, like if we survive the night. So like yeah,
Hmm.
like they know there's a high risk of them getting killed or anything like that. So why not say all the things that like you're thinking like who gives a f? Because I don't want to outright curse. Like who cares?
Right.
So yeah, say it. Like yeah, look what like when Jamie Foxx goes off like yo, you're a sociopath. Like what do you sit there empty? There's nothing in between you. Like there you can't tell how anybody else
Hmm.
feels because all you care about is yourself. I was like, damn, like you got a lot of balls here, Jamie or Max, but it makes
Right.
sense. He was like, what else do you have to lose? Like
Yeah.
you already seen him kill. Like there's a good chance. There's a more than 90% chance he's probably gonna kill you at the end of this. So
Exactly.
who cares? Say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no,
he
it
needs
makes it
you.
makes
He
sense.
needs you to get the rest of his jobs done, and you know that he's gonna
Yeah,
kill you when he gets to that last job, or
yeah.
yeah, before he gets off the taxi, go do that last job. So why not get it off your chest?
Like I'm thinking back to like I like because since we started this right, like I try to watch movies a little bit differently, so I try to
Hmm.
catch little things. Like I like Tom Cruise's face. Played he in the movie he plays Vincent. I like Tom Cruise's face when like he notices that the body that fell out the window just hit Max's cab. When he's like, ah shit. When he kind of looks around and like fixes his pants and like his jacket is like, "Ah, this is
I
the
gotta
worst
get
thing
to
that could have
work.
happened. Yeah, you gotta get it was grab him. John, did you notice if you go back and watch it, right? The body that they're picking up and putting in the trunk, like These are the little things I noticed from movies or whatever, like the little like outtakes that made it in the actual movie. The body grabs Jamie Foxx's arm when like, when they're putting him into the cab. Like you could clearly see the guy like holding Jamie Foxx, like the body that's in his like they're thrown in the cab. Like you could clearly see it.
I saw that. I
It's
didn't know that it was a grip. I thought maybe it was just like an accidental thing that happened. Now I have to
no,
go
but it
back and
was
watch to see if there's like an actual like he's holding on.
son. Like why would he? Why would his hand like his hand would just be flimsy? He's dead. You know what I mean? Like there wouldn't be a reason for him to
Right.
have an outline grab of his forearm. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I'm dead, I'm not. I'm thinking, oh, let me hold the elbow or the guy that's carrying me into a trunk. I'm not,
Right.
my arms are doing whatever they want. You know what I mean? Like
I
Ricky
mean,
Bobby.
even in the
I don't know
afterlife,
what
you're
to do with my
considerate.
hands. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, hey man, thanks for throwing me in the trunk. Let me help you out. Give you that little extra oomph that you need. So I caught that. I was like, yo, you can see it. I rewinded it. Like, yeah, you can. It was funny. Little outtakes there. Jason Statham, I wish was in the movie now. I was like, oh, like I thought at some point he was gonna come in, like in that club scene, because he needed backup, but then he just Tom Cruise doesn't because he's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, but who's Jason Statham gonna be? Like he's gonna be just another Tom Cruise. You can't have two Stathams or two Tom
Two, you can't have
Cruises
two Tom Cruises.
playing the
Yeah, you're
same
right.
guy. He would be playing a serial killer. He was in the Mechanic, right? Those type
Yeah,
of
oh,
movies
I
where he
love that movie.
plays
Love that movie.
assassins. Exactly. So you
Killer
can't have
Elite. Killer Elite
Killer
is
Elite.
another good one. Yeah. All right.
So
Let's not go down to
hey,
Statham. Let's
no, let's
not
not
let's
get
not go
sidetracked. But
let's
I'm
not
just
get
saying
Statham.
that seeing him, yeah, don't get Statham, right? Like don't get Wild Wild Wested, but you see Statham, and then you
Exactly.
kind of you know what kind of movie you're gonna get. But you can't
Yes.
have him and Tom Cruise sharing their screen. You already have Jamie Foxx, which again I think he carried the movie. This was more a Jamie Foxx movie than it was a Tom Cruise movie, which is why I
Yep.
enjoyed it because of those conversations. And
I I like the darkness that Tom Cruise had. Like Tom Cruise, I was thinking about it, like Tom Cruise never plays the villain, right? Like he
right,
typically plays a superhero that like is gonna sprint and jump off a building, break his foot, and shut down production for like 6 weeks, and then
right,
he comes back and does that same shot again. Like it's Tom Cruise never it's like to see him play that guy, and I liked the subtleness of Jamie Foxx's character too. Like at the beginning, he was like a mumbling guy. He was a bit
very
of
meek.
yeah, but you're right, very meek, very shy. Then at the end, he like
Hmm.
finally becomes voiceless. But like I don't want to give. I'm not
Dude,
gonna give away. We're not gonna talk. We're not gonna give away the ending. You gotta watch it. You know
no,
what I mean? But
but that
you gotta watch that
transformation
part. What? Yeah, that
when he's talking
transformation
to
was crazy.
Felix,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, son, when he took off his glasses, he
Yeah,
goes, you know, I'm gonna paraphrase. This is what like I felt he said. All right, he goes, if you don't tell this bitch to put his gun back in his pocket, I'm gonna whoop his ass.
I'm gonna
Yo,
take it
you
from
bet.
him and
How
pistol
did?
whip him to death.
Yeah, like how did he know? Like, is Jamie Foxx really an assassin? Like, what are we talking about? Was he Vincent in the former life? Like, how did he see the guy when he wears glasses? Like a little glare in his small
It's
ass glasses.
possible.
Yeah, it was. Oh, that scene. I was like, okay, all right, I see you. That was crazy. That was. Yeah, you're right. It was a Jamie Foxx movie. I agree with you on
Yeah,
that. I just like the Tom Cruise villain, man. Like, cause Tom Cruise is a psychopath of an actor. Like the guy can act. He still has my favorite cameo of all time in Tropic Thunder. You know what I mean? Like the guy can crush a scene, bro, and he did. Like he was a great support to Jamie Foxx's main character because Jamie Foxx is the hero of it.
right.
So, oh, man, that movie was. Oh, I appreciate rewatching movies that I hadn't seen in so long
Mhm.
because then you get to watch it with a different lens. There's that word again.
There it is. You're welcome. Like Maui, you're welcome. Hey, no, I don't know if this has ever been said, but this must have been a not an underrated, but there's no such thing as a toned down Tom Cruise, right? Everything is always over the top. And
Yeah,
this was
I mean, look,
probably
yeah,
as understated a character as he could have played. I've seen his movies, everything he takes it to the next level. Maybe
yes,
I have to go back and watch, some of those 80s, early 90s movies, but it's always with a lot of intensity and like you feel like something's about to blow up even if they're just talking about like negotiating terms on a contract. It's always
Yep.
some you
Yep.
feel that energy, something's about to happen. And this
Hmm.
one,
Hmm.
it was sort of that same energy because obviously he's playing a hitman, but it's brought down a notch, which I didn't know
Yep.
that he could do, and I forgot that that's how he played this role. Not
Hmm.
always
Hmm.
high strung like he plays all his characters.
Yeah, there was more
He has some
of
daddy
as
issues.
yeah, as opposed to like the intensity. I think there was more of a understated anxiety, right? Because you could see like
Right.
his anxiousness and determination to get the job done. Because you front out you want to like, yeah, he might be the assassin, but the people who pay him, he's terrified of. Because if
Hmm.
he doesn't get that contract done, there's
Right.
no more Vincent. You know what I mean? So there's that side
Hmm.
of it too. That's like, yo, I gotta get this like at all costs. Like he's shooting people up and ripping throats out in a club full of people. Like you don't do that unless you're completely desperate. I don't care how. I don't know how you get on a plane. You got to do all those things to make sure you're not the one getting
How
your
are you
throat
flying
ripped
out?
out.
Your
Exactly.
face is
He
everywhere.
had the same suit on. He didn't bring a change of clothes. Like first of all, and it's a light gray, right? Like it's not a dark gray. Oh no, that's just a wine stain. It's a light gray. You're gonna be able to tell if there's chunks of teeth in there. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna
Yeah.
know. So the outfit was a little questionable.
I
But yeah,
mean,
man.
maybe
What
he's
else
the
you got
type
in
of guy
those
that
notes,
flies
JV?
private.
No, he got out of an airplane. He was definitely at the airport. I mean, he was 100% at the airport. Like, how would he have ran in to Jason Statham? You know what I mean? Let me see what
Maybe.
I got at my
No,
notes
there
here.
was a conversation that they had, Vincent and Max, so Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise, where I guess Max has finally had enough, and
Yep.
Vincent. This was I don't want not to make light of it, but he starts talking to him about Rwanda. He's like, you know about Rwanda? Yeah, over 10,000 people killed overnight. The divorce massacre, and did you join Greenpeace? Did you join Save the
Yeah.
Whales? What did you
Yeah.
do? And now you're giving me a hard time because I killed some fat Angelino. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, that
Yeah.
was I like some of those conversations. Most of them were deep. Most of them were like, hey, what are you doing sitting driving this cab? You say it's temporary and you've been doing it for over a decade. When are you going to make your dreams
Yep.
come true? And
Yep.
going back and forth with Vincent's daddy issues and why he is the way he is, potentially why he turned out to be the person he turned out to be. But then you have something like that. Um,
There's a
we
there's
we've
a
talked we've
loneliness.
talked. Go ahead.
There's a loneliness with Vincent too, right? Because if that's all he does, there's
Of
nobody
course.
he can ever get close to. So like that's probably like his way of trying to make a friend. You know?
What they say, isn't it that what's the saying? I'm not sure what the saying is, but what is it? You're most comfortable telling a total stranger your deepest and darkest secrets because you're never going to see them
Yep.
again. So
True.
it's something
Yeah.
along those lines because who's he going to marry? Another assassin?
Yeah.
That's
That's
it's
true.
it's a lonely life. So that's why he's able to tell Jamie Foxx, like with the exception of what is it? He told him, yeah, I was 12 and I killed him, and he's like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
just
He
kidding.
goes,
He
I'm
died of
kidding.
liver
Yeah.
disease.
Yeah.
But
John,
he was
go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, we've talked for a while now, and we haven't mentioned. I mean, I mentioned it in passing, but we haven't mentioned Jada. Really talked about Jada
Yeah.
and her character.
I mean,
Any
because I'm afraid
thoughts?
to mention anything about Jada. You know, I mean, this movie was
You
filmed in
gonna get a virtual
2004, but
slap?
this is yeah. Hey, man, listen, he walked up on an Oscar stage, bro. Like I'm not trying to get that energy out here. You know what I mean, so what
He's
if
on
her
his
wig was
he's
way
on his
too long?
comeback tour right now.
Is that damn? See, nope. Just jumped right in. I went right into the hair comment. Look, she should have been in the movie more.
It was good hair.
I'll say that. I think she brought. I think she brought a. She brought good acting to it, but like I didn't. I think the scene at the beginning, maybe with her and Jamie, should have been a little bit longer, so I'm more invested in that character. But like, if she died, I would. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have felt bad. Like, not because it's Jada,
I
but
did
like,
like that
I just
dynamic.
I I understand the dynamic, but I'm saying like the fear, like sometimes like you have to believe that that person might. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a chance like this
Right.
person might not. Like I had no idea that like after the shooting at the club, like to not spoil it, right? That character would be shot. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
I didn't like that. That was like like that was not jarring, but I was like, oh damn, I didn't expect that. Like with the
Right.
Jada thing, I was like, oh okay, like this is not obviously is gonna end one of two ways, but I wasn't like invested in her character enough to be like, oh man, I really hope she makes it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
yes, he needs to
I
do
thought
that.
she was gonna be in the movie
He,
more.
yes,
I wish she would have
they could
because,
have.
like you said, that dynamic, that conversation, that chemistry they had, her and Jamie Foxx, they could have played off of it more. At the very least, gotten her involved. Even though as the movie goes along, you kind of have an idea that she is part of the movie at some point later on.
Yeah,
But I wish that they would have had some scenes where like they whether it was flashbacks or anything where you get her involved more because she brought good acting to it. The short amount of time that she was in the movie, I thought she brought good acting to it, which it just made me question what happened to Jada like after 2004. Was she just making Lifetime movies? I don't know.
yeah. I don't know. Like, I think, and you're right. Like, what they could have done, like, had like, I guess, like chop away scenes for like a minute or two of her like working on the case file and like
Exactly.
directing people on what to do, because this case is still looming and this guy's killing people. But then you're like, oh, but what does one thing have to do with the other? Like, make you question that, not just like show her on a screen and Jamie Foxx has to go run. You know what I mean? And his old man knees to make
Right.
this sprint. You get what I'm saying? Like, just like alluded to it more without like making it so obvious, right? Like we're gonna be like, wait, why are they showing Jada still? Like it was just an earlier thing. And then when they show the screen, it was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like
So
we just
maybe
gave
that's why they did it. Actually, not maybe. I'm pretty sure that's why they did it the way they did it. As we're talking about it, the light bulb is just not going off in my head. That's the reason why they didn't involve her more. Because if you watch it, you might pick up on it. Some people won't pick up on it. But
right.
as you're watching it, if you haven't, you realize, oh, oh,
Yeah,
that's who they're going. Like, you know what I mean? Like they
yeah,
didn't want to involve her in there because they figured, you know what, we're just gonna leave it up to everyone to figure it out or not figure it out and be surprised when that happens.
yeah,
So maybe it's just
yeah. I
me
guess.
wanting to see Jada with the good hair. Damn, damn.
Yeah, I mean, she was
Uh,
Jada. Shout out to see, right? You can't help it. You can't help it. It's in the multiverse. Like you
there's
just
nothing
can't.
wrong. Like,
You
hey,
can't
I'm
help
going.
but.
Look, hairline's going
Hey,
back.
listen,
I'm
brother.
gonna
You
have to
preaching to
shave
the
it. You know what I
choir
mean?
here, man. Look at this. Look at my hairline looking
Yeah.
like an M sometimes. You know what I mean? Like an
Pretty soon,
upside
I'm gonna
down
have to go
W.
full Bruce Willis pretty soon. But that's what
I
it
might have
is,
to
you
go
know.
LeBron with it, like LeBron as like 2006 in Miami LeBron. You know what I mean? Like we acting like that's all real. All right. Um. Now look, I think we reached the part, this part of the show here where we stream it, skip it, or Wild Wild West it, right? Like, oh, before we get into that, real quick, I wanted to ask you this: the story that Javier Bardem, Felix in the movie, the
Bro,
story that he gave about Pedro and Negro, right?
Black
Son, is
Peter.
that
Yeah.
real? Like,
That
is
is a
that real?
thing in he talked about it as far as like Pedro el Negro, meaning Black Peter, Santa's helper.
Black
It's a
Peter.
Mexican story. I've heard
Yeah.
that as a thing in the Netherlands, Black Peter. Not only
Okay.
that I heard about it, and then a stand-up comedian talked about it. I can't remember her name. I think it's Michelle Buteau, and her fiance, possibly husband now, is from the
Uh-huh.
Netherlands, and they have a whole thing like every year with Black Peter comes out, and people eventually started coming out. Like essentially, it was a white guy coming out in blackface playing Black Peter
Ooh,
for these parades in Amsterdam or wherever it was going on. So I knew it was a thing in the Netherlands. I didn't know it was a thing in Mexican stories about Pedro el Negro or Black Peter. While Santa takes care of the good boys and girls, Black Peter leaves a donkey on the bad boys and girls like at their house, and then
yeah.
he comes back. If they're still misbehaving, he takes them away and just get snatched. We're talking about human trafficking, taking 7-year-olds, and what do they go work at the North Pole? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's weird. So I have like the lines of the movie right here that I'm looking at. This is
Uh huh.
crazy. All right, I'm not. Yeah, like it goes. Felix goes, "Do you believe in Humpty Dumpty?" Max, no, I don't. I'm gonna try to do my Jamie Foxx. No, I don't. I don't believe in shit. I don't believe in Santa Claus. Do you believe in Santa Claus? No, no, I don't. Felix, nor do I. Nor do I. But my children do. They are still small. But do you know who they like even better than Santa Claus? His helper, Pedro Negro, Black Peter. Then he just goes into the whole tale. Oh my!
Yeah.
Like I was rereading that. I was like, oh my god, this is insane. Like just I can see the. Yeah, I can't find anything Well, yeah, you're right. It's more so about a Dutch
Hmm.
old wives' tale, and that whole thing. Like, where it's just more that I don't find anything about anything Mexican oriented, but I had to do more research on that and probably cover it on the next episode if we made any mistakes. But yeah, man, we're at it. Stream it, skip it, or Wild Wild West. Where you at?
I mean, I'm gonna say stream it,
As
right?
Yeah, as a
The way we've been
recommendation.
talking
Yeah,
about it, if I went any other route, you'd look at me like, what have you been smoking? Yeah, definitely stream it. I'm not sure how much longer it's gonna be on the platform. It's from 2004. Netflix
yep,
has a tendency to like every month they just purge their library, their archives of material. And again, it's 2004 film. They got rid of
yep,
Blade Runner, and
yeah,
so at some point it's gonna be
both of
out,
them.
and you don't want to miss it. I'm sure you'll find it on Tubi and other platforms, but you have to deal with commercials. So while it's on Netflix, stream it.
Yeah, I would have to agree. It's a different kind of movie, and just to see Tom Cruise play a villain, man, like it's refreshing to see actors that are always a superhero take on a different dynamic and a different role. So I would say the same. I would say stream it. I think it's gonna be a rare time in our pod history where it's a Wild Wild West it, but I'm sure it'll come, and I'm
I
sure it'll
mean,
come.
look,
I'm
on
hoping.
Wild Wild West, I would say stream it, but we already decided why we would Wild Wild West a movie or give it that
No,
rating.
wait, no, you wouldn't. Would you watch that movie again right now?
I would. I
You're a
told you, I'm
liar,
looking at it through a
and you're
different lens. Steampunk,
yeah.
American Western, and that's what I
No,
appreciate the art. I appreciate the
all right,
effort
we're not.
that they
No,
made.
no, we're not doing. No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this again, John. We're not. It's a Wild Wild West for a reason. This is not Collateral on Netflix. Finally, is a stream it. Check it out
Yeah.
and answer me the question on social media. Did Tom Cruise's beard in 4.5 hours get thicker just around the chin area? Because as I'm like, who put this on him? But whatever. All right, guys, we got nothing else. that that was episode 3 of the pod. This is Streamophile. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. We're out.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to Streamophile. Directed by John. Executive producer Ben and John. Created by Ben and John. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe wherever you
Hold on,
get
let
your
me try to do my
podcasts.
warm-up exercises. La 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 la. Okay, I'm good. My
Ready,
wife said
dude?
that hurt her ears, so I hope it hurt yours as well.
Yeah, no, it did. It absolutely did. And guess what's making the post credit? Bow, bow, bow,
What?
bow. Right there. There's gonna be one day of like me singing, like because it's gonna happen, like especially if I listen to Teddy Swims right before, and it's gonna be bad, and it's gonna get posted.
Mhm.